how Sony will strip away ownership in 5 steps. The first step, the 2-model launch. On November the 12th, 2020, the PS5 released. Sony launched with 2 models, the standard disc edition and the digital edition. That in itself is Sony distancing itself from physical media, not by having the standard disc edition as the only default option. If you were to look at the design of the actual PS5, the digital edition looks more like the original intended design, whereas the standard disc edition looked more like an afterthought. Sony is literally physically distancing themselves from the disk drive by tacking it onto the side of the console as an option. The second step, the PlayStation licensing update. This update to the PS5 happened in March of 2026, and this update goes all the way down to the bootloaders and above, which is actually really deep in terms of changing how the PS5 fundamentally works. So before March 2026, the PS5 had a digital licensing operated on a local primary cache system. If you had console sharing and offline play enabled in your settings on the PS5, your account assigned a local cryptographic license file to your PS5. Sony servers mark that PS5 as your account's single primary console. When you buy a digital game from the PlayStation Store, which you have to be online for, Sony records your ownership at the account level in their database on their servers, like a cloud-based master receipt. During downloading, Sony servers get pinged to fetch the infinite cryptographic license file that gets downloaded onto your primary PS5 encrypted storage. After this, the Sony servers are no longer needed. With your infinite cryptographic license file offline on your PS5, you could even unplug the Ethernet cable or turn off the Wi-Fi, and your games would boot indefinitely without any cooldown timers or rechecks. After March 2026, after the cloud-based master receipt has been made, during downloading, Sony servers get pinged to fetch the 30-day cryptographic license file that gets downloaded onto your primary PS5's encrypted storage, not the infinite cryptographic license file. The Ethernet cable is now unplugged or the Wi-Fi is turned off. So the moment the game is downloaded, the 30 days cryptographic license starts to tick down to 0, and after your 30 days are up, the 30-day cryptographic license file then tells the system software to refuse to open the game and instructs the system UI to put a padlock icon over the game tile. Then from that point on, you have to go online to ping Sony servers for a one-time license verification check to play your game. After you go online and ping/check PSN, your 30-day cryptographic license file turns into an infinite cryptographic license file, allowing you to play offline forever. Why does this matter, Miles? Who cares about all this licensing? Just play the game. Because you're required to ask Sony servers for permission to play the game you purchased. Imagine you buy a digital game on your PS5 and then after 30 days of offline play you want to continue playing the game. But PSN has been hacked and the servers are down. So then your 30 days are up and you're locked out of your games you paid for until PSN goes back online. What about if you're in a remote place with no internet, like a military base, submarine or cargo ship? This is all important because this is laying down the foundation of what's to come. The third step, no disc production. The announcement on the 1st of July 2026 to end all physical disc production ending in January 2028. When you buy the disc, the licenses are built in. No permissions needed. You can sell the disc to anyone else. You can even rip the disc and play offline. If the only way to purchase games is from Sony's online store, that would make it a Sony digital monopoly. Sony would charge the highest prices people are willing to pay because there is no competition, unless there's a lawsuit or something that allows other stores like PC. This is the step we are at right now as a recording, step 3 of 5 of this process. Here are my predictions for Sony and gaming as a whole in the future from this point on. The fourth step, there will soon be a always online cryptographic license file. If you purchase a game now, you get a 30-day cryptographic license file that has an opportunity to be turned into an infinite cryptographic license file, allowing you to play offline forever. I predict sometime in the future, Sony and the gaming industry as a whole will get rid of the infinite cryptographic license file altogether and replace it with the best case scenario, a 90-day cryptographic license file that is looped. So you have to check in every 90 days into Sony servers forever. Then after that it will be a 30-day cryptographic license file that is looped, so you have to check in every 30 days into Sony servers forever. Then from this point, Sony and the gaming industry as a whole will only offer always online cryptographic license for all purchased digital media. That is almost the end game. The fifth step, Sony stops production of their consoles. At some point in the future, Sony will stop the production of all PlayStation consoles, so you will have to play your digital media through the Sony platform app. A full-on Sony digital fiefdom. This is the end game, and that is the last step of Sony stripping away your ownership. Yes, I know this is a truth nuke, but there are 4 ways to not become Sony's next victim. Starting with the first one, you could just mod your console, but that does mean you can't connect to Sony servers. And if you do, Sony will ban your console from connecting to the servers, and modding may void your warranty. But it will give you more freedom to use your console as you please, rather than using the PS5 system software soyware. Also, I just want to be 100% clear, you can mod your console, which in this context means move around files, change the look, not to pirate games, because people sometimes conflate modding with piracy, just in case Sony and Nintendo send the ninjas after me and I've got to fend them off with a zombie knife like I'm King Arthur Roadman. The second way is to vote with your wallet. Just don't buy anything PlayStation and buy everything Xbox and or Nintendo if you feel more comfortable buying with them. Xbox and Nintendo will follow in Sony's footsteps, but at the time of recording, Xbox and Nintendo are not as restricting as Sony. The third and best way to escape the matrix is just by buying a PC with Windows, leaving those console normie NPCs in the dust. Multiple storefronts, various price points, emulation, mods, GIMP, and video editing, just to name a few. The fourth is to get a PC, and instead of installing Windows, which is basically malware with a pretty interface at this point, is to install a Linux-based operating system, because Linux is infinitely configurable. With this all in mind, I would only recommend modding your console, because if you are offline, no one really cares, and installing Windows instead of Linux, because even though there has been lots of development with Linux, it is still somewhat broken. I can't recommend anything that has compatibility issues making it feel broken, so stick to Windows for now. I spent a lot of time researching and making this video, so it would mean a lot to me if you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, buy my course, and comment, because I will be responding to all your comments, and I'll see you in the next one.